scene was from the 1990 remake of George Romero's classic film Night of the Living Dead. And in this version, the actor that played the main character of Ben was portrayed by actor Tony Todd, who unfortunately passed away over the weekend at the age of 69. Some of us might remember the actor from his various roles on TV shows. When the actor was on the big screen, he crossed over many genres, from either dramatic roles, action films, and even crossed over into horror icon status. The man kept pretty busy and even managed to make his way over to the video game world.
We are healthy, strong. This is what you want.
Man, I really wish he did the voice of Venom in the movies too. I was actually really hoping that one day he would be the voice of Galactus whenever the character made its way into the Marvel Universe. Rather than do like a clip show tribute, I actually wanted to tell a story about an encounter that I had with Mr. Todd. So let's rewind to 2009. So myself and a group of friends were out and about in the Hollywood/Los Feliz area. We were trying to find a bar that was open at the time. So we were walking about and we see this bar and we had never been there before, and we're like, hey, let's just go in and check it out. We walk into this bar and it is packed. And not only was it really packed, there was a performance going on the stage all the way to the right. It looked like it was probably like a jazz performance. So like I said, this place was packed except for this little walkway. So we had to walk down where the stage was off to the far right and then the bar was off to the left. And as we're walking away, we have to walk past the bar. That was the last one in this conga line here. And I just happened to turn my head to the left looking at the bar, and it was just Tony Todd leaning against the bar, you know, minding his own business, listening to the music, talking to his friend. And if you don't know this about me already, I don't like to bother people. If I see or recognize a celebrity in public, I never really say anything. If I see them and we make eye contact, I'm kind of like, and even if I see somebody at a convention, I still don't like to bother people. I just like to live in that moment and let it be. But something very odd and peculiar came over me. I was just really excited and really happy to see him, and I had to tell him that. So I walked up to him and I was like, Mr. Todd, Mr. Todd. He was like, oh, hello, do I know you? And I was like, no, but I know you and I really love your work, sir. I really, really love it and I really, really appreciate you. He was very, very gracious about it. He said, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Then he stood up. The man stood up straight and reached out to shake my hand, and I was like, whoa, because I knew he was tall, but I didn't realize he was that tall. He then extended his very big hand and then shook my little hand. And that just made my night, because here I met a celebrity, someone that I had been watching on TV and in movies for many years, and they were super cool. So I just made my way over at the opposite end of the bar where my friends were hanging out, and I ordered my drink. It was just kind of like watching the live music for a while. So I was just enjoying the rest of my night, hanging out with my friends, having a couple of drinks, listening to some music, and finally I had to make my way to the restroom. As I'm in the restroom, you know, standing in front of the stall, already like thinking to myself, oh man, you broke the seal, now you're going to be in here every like 2 minutes. You know, I made my way to the sink to wash my hands, and maybe like 5 or 6 seconds later, the person that had just walked in started doing the same thing. They were washing their hands too. And I remember as I was washing my hands and I looked with my side eye and I was like, oh, it's Mr. Todd. And I was like, okay, just keep washing your hands. Don't say anything. I was like, you know, you're in the bathroom. Don't bother anybody. I was like, I had my moment with him and that was it. And I was like, I'll let it be. So I kept washing my hands because I was already thinking to myself, hey, don't walk out the same time because that's going to be weird. So I was like, I'll just keep washing my hands. Well, as I'm standing there drying my hands all extra long, you know, I was like, you know, I'll let the guy walk out first. I don't want to bother him. And I look up real quick and I was just like, no way. Tony Todd is technically standing behind me in the mirror. Candyman himself is standing behind me in the mirror. And you know, the dude just went to the restroom, washed his hands, fixed his hat, then walked back out to go listen to some jazz music and hang out with some friends. Like I said, I didn't want to bother the man. I had my moment with him at the bar, which was awesome. And I just happened to bump into him in the restroom. And not like I would ever bother anybody in the restroom. And also, I didn't take any pictures with him because, well, this was 2009. I had a Nextel flip phone with a terrible camera. But fast forward to 2024 to Monsterpalooza, where I almost didn't go, but I'm really glad that I did. And I saw Mr. Todd, and of course he signed my copy of Candyman, and then he even signed my copy of Lean On Me. It was funny because he was like, Lean On Me? He was like, the great Morgan Freeman, and I was like, yes, but I was like, I used to watch this movie all the time as a kid, and I was like, I always remembered you from this movie. And you know, he was really gracious and appreciative about it, and of course he signed the DVD. And then I brought up the story that I just told you that took place in 2009, and it was pretty funny because he was like, kind of smiling too, and he was like, this sounds familiar, and he was like, what was the name of the bar? And I told him the name, and he was like, Okay, he's like, yeah, I remember this. And I was telling him, I was like, it was such a memorable, unique moment in time. I was like, there was no camera phone, so I really had to live for that moment. And I told him, I was like, you didn't have to be as cool as you were about everything. And I was like, and you were. And I was like, I really appreciate it. I was like, you're a good person. He shook my little hand again, gave me a side hug, and I told him, I have a lot more questions to ask you. And he responded with,
I'll see you soon.
I just wanted to share that story. It was one of those moments in my life where it actually felt like a movie, and the way it just kind of came back around again was actually pretty cool. What is one of your favorite Tony Todd movies, or do you have a favorite thing that he's done on television? Were you lucky enough to meet the man at a convention or even out in public? Please comment below and let me know. I'm Mike the Movie Misfit, and I'll see you at the movies.